Hello everyone, it's Limsy here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to draw some spring themed doodles. I can't find a better way to welcome spring than this. So let's get started. Starting from a blank A4 paper, let's start with a basic birdhouse with the shape of a normal house, which I believe that everyone can draw, with a roof and two walls that are visible. And once you're done, you can draw this circle and a stick, which this is where the bird feeds on the seed itself. And when we're done with the pencil line, just grab the pen and do the outline starting from the roof. You can also add some of these slanted lines to show the wood barks, and then outline the rest of it. You can add some more of these vertical lines to give a little bit more texture for the birdhouse. And also add some of this hatching to indicate the shadows all around, and your birdhouse is done in no time. Moving on, next to the birdhouse, we're gonna draw a bird nest for sure. So just draw this huge oval sitting, and in the large oval, just add these 3 little ovals for the eggs. And when you outline it, remember to add a lot of dots all around the eggs to show more texture. Whereas for the nest, you can just add some of this curved horizontal short strokes and just scruff around, and then you will have this really nice looking nest. Moving on to the next one will be the bird. So start with a soybean shape. This is how I like to start for a bird drawing, and add all the details like the eye and also the beak and also the tail itself. And when you ink it out, remember to add a lot of these scruffy lines around the perimeter to just add some feathery texture for the bird. And remember to draw out the feathers on the tail and also the wing itself, and just add more of these curved short lines for the feather all around the bird. And then you will have this adorable looking bird. So now that we have all these 3 elements on the tree, let's draw a huge tree to support all these 3 elements hanging up on it. So just add a lot of these V lines connecting all the elements, and we're gonna start drawing the tree. So while you're doing this main branch, add a lot of sub branches around with this V line and shape, and then you get a good looking tree. After you're done with the outline, add a lot of this shape for the leaves that is pointy like this. So just add a lot of leaves to make it as refreshing as it looks, as it welcomes spring. And also, if you're done with the leaves, you can just add a lot of these middle lines to make it more interesting, like what I'm doing here. So just fill up all the leaves with these middle veins. And at the same time, if you want to add more leaves, like what I'm doing here for the bird nest, please feel free to do so. Finishing the leaves, let's add some wood texture on the tree bark again. So just add a lot of this long slender lines and even some of this what I call it a Swiss roll on the tree bark itself. And your tree is gonna look great in no time. Moving on to the next element, we're gonna do a simple wood signboard, which is one of my favorites because I think it is very useful. You can just put it everywhere, like in your journal, your planner, or even in your work. So just draw these huge arrow shapes. It could be just slanted like this, doesn't have to be perfect, and also a vertical stick just connecting the two arrows. And you can just write any word that you like on the signboard itself. Here I'm writing garden and also greenhouse. And next, just continue your pen with the inking and just add a lot of wooden texture again, which is one of the techniques that we are going to use a lot today for both the arrow signboards. And then not forgetting the vertical middle line that is connecting the signboards here. And also add some of this scruffy grass underneath it, and your signboard looks good. If you want to add some more dimension, just add some of this shadows and random lines beside the signboard. Next, we're gonna do this Hello Spring banner, which is in the middle of your doodle drawing here. First of all, I'm gonna just write this Hello Spring in the middle, and let's create this banner with two folds at each of the end like this. This is how a basic banner looks like, but if you want to spice it up, you can do the semicircle like what I'm doing here and just add some leaves all around the line and also some berries at the end of the line. This is how we spice it up a little bit for the basic banner, and then let's ink everything out, starting from the leaves and also the berries. Everything will look better once you add some foliage or flowers around it. The same goes for this banner. Now you can also add some hatchings at the folded areas like what I'm doing here to just show some shadows and a different dimension to the banner. I think this is one of my favorite parts, and I always love drawing banners. Moving on to the next one, we are doing a watering can, but this is not your usual watering can. You can just check out later. So first we're gonna draw the shape of the watering can. Just add this sprinkler as well in the front and also a handle. And once you're done with the outline, just outline it again with the pen. Because the watering can is relatively made of metallic surfaces, so you don't need to do a lot of scruffy outlines, just outline it will do. But on top of it, let's add some of this cute wildflowers all around, and also it could be just any type of flowers that you like some of the daisies or roses that I'm doing here, and also add a lot of grass or leaves from all directions. And you can also add this cute lavender looking flower just popping out. And I think this is a pretty useful doodle tip as well. Like if you have a metallic or rather cold element, you can just add some flowers to it. And anything with organic shape, it will look nicer on top of a more angular surface. Next up, we're gonna do this farmer's market tote, and just start with this rectangular shape with slightly rounded edges for the tote, and also add this wobbly handler. It doesn't have to be perfect like this. And then just grab your pen again and ink everything out. Remember to spell out the word farmer's market. Simple as that. Just gonna use all with cap letters. And then adding this ticks at each of the alphabet just to make it more interesting. Now the same method that we have done for the watering can, we're gonna add a lot of vegetables or some mixed flowers on top of the farmer's market tote. Just peeping out like that, and you don't have to draw the whole of it, just draw half of them would do. I even added carrots, flowers, and even bok choy on it, and then some random lines to finish out the shadows. Moving on to the last two elements. This is one of my favorite flowers, the Gerbera. So just draw a large circle in the middle and add a lot of this long, slender petals all around the circle. And then the stem for it. And next to the Gerbera flower, we're gonna add this cute bumblebee. So start with a head and an abdomen with the wings flying out like that. And next, right at the bottom of the bumblebee, let's add another Gerbera flower that is slightly smaller, but it fills up the composition just nicely. And then we're done with the main composition. So now let's grab our pen again and just fill out the Gerbera. So for now, I'm gonna do a lot of this dotting, or what we like to call it stippling, to fill up the middle area of the Gerbera itself, which is very fun to do. Next, I'm just gonna outline all of these petals one by one like this, and you just go round and round until you finish the whole flower. And just add some of these lines on each of the petal to add like a wrinkle on it to make the flower just pop out of your paper. And not forgetting the stem as well. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, rather a bit of curve will make it look nicer. Moving on to the bumblebee. The bumblebee, you can just scruff it out a little bit and add a bit of wiggle in your pen. And then for the abdomen part, let's section it out to 4 parts, and we're gonna paint some of it black alternatively. So one will be blank, another one will be black. Moving on to the wings, just add some of these lines to indicate the very delicate wings. This is especially useful when it comes to wings for the insects, like the butterflies, the bee, and also even for the dragonfly. Once you're done with the bee, move on to the next Gerbera, and you're gonna repeat what you did for the first one to finish this trio together. Once you're done with the drawing, start to just do this wiggle line and do a curve from the tail of the bee, and just draw out this bee happy, playing with the pun of the word bee. But when it comes to the outline, instead of the usual pen inking method, we're gonna just do this dashed method to make things more interesting, as if the bee has just flown around the alphabet area. This is gonna be something that is useful for you to put in your journal or planner, and I really love this design element. If you want to spice things up a little bit more, you can just add this little tick to each of your alphabet. And your doodle is done in no time. It's gonna look great for now, and let's erase off the pencil marks just very carefully, and make sure that your pen ink is all dried up before erasing out. Well, that's all for today, guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's doodles of Hello Spring theme. Remember to like this video and remember to subscribe this channel, or you can join our live stream, which is happening every weekend, where we will be doodling and watercolor painting on my IG, Love Limsey. So I hope to see you there, and I'll see you next week. Thank you and bye bye.